I'm delighted to be joined by former MK Dons midfielder Luke Chadwick. Luke, you've got a new book out, not just a pretty face. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I've got a copy here, so I'll show it to the camera. But yeah, a book came out on Monday. It's like a really honest account of my footballing career. Obviously, a massive part of my football career was here at Stadium MK with MK Dons. So it's lovely to be back here. I really appreciate you giving me the time to come back and talk to you guys about it. And it is something that I'm really proud of. I think when you're in professional football and you're playing the game, you probably don't think about it. It's only since now that I've sort of been out of professional football for around 10 years and had the opportunity to reflect on my football career, a career that started at the very top with Manchester United, then slowly worked my way down the leagues, somewhat of a journeyman player. I don't say that as a self-derogatory term because that's what I was, but I absolutely loved that journey of being a footballer. Now to be able to put it down in print is something that I'm very proud of.
You were very well thought of in your time at Stadium MK, Luke, an integral part of Carl Robinson's side. What are your sort of overwhelming memories of being a Dons player?
Whenever I come back to this stadium, it is a wonderful, wonderful football stadium, but it always brings back fantastic memories coming here. I remember when I came here, I weren't in a great place physically or mentally. I'd been suffering with lots of injuries at Norwich City where I was playing. I got myself fit, weren't in the team, and I just wanted a fresh challenge. And when I spoke to my agent and we spoke about clubs nearby, because I was from Cambridge, I'd got a young family, I wanted to stay close to the area, and spoke about MK Dons, came here and looked round and fell in love with the place. Spoke to the chairman, who was so enthusiastic, and I was absolutely buzzing to sign here, obviously under Roberto Di Matteo on loan. And from that moment, it's somewhere that I felt truly at home. I was always made to feel so welcome. It was a brilliant dressing room to come into. Like I say, the chairman was always so supportive. I played under some fantastic managers and had such a brilliant sort of affinity with the crowd here as well. Sat in the cow shed, which is probably the stand that sung my name the most out of all the clubs I played for. So it was somewhere that like I say, I loved playing football here at MK Dons.
You were very well loved in the cow shed. I can remember it. One of those players that, of course, you were playing with at the time, who was only just called time on his playing career, is Dean Lewington. We had a fantastic event for the for Louis on Friday. What are your memories of playing alongside him?
Yeah, I mean, Louis was like Mr. MK Dons. What he's achieved and what he's done here, I don't think will ever happen again in professional football. To play at a club for so long, to play the number of games that he played, and he was like a fantastic footballer, but also the mentality you need to play 900 odd games in your career. I was absolutely gutted not to be able to make it on Friday. I was away on a family trip. It looked like a lot of people showed out to show their respect for someone that deserves so much respect. I think my overriding memories of playing with Dean were a very grumpy player, used to moan a lot, used to tell me off a lot of the time, used to moan at the referees, but always knew where you wanted the ball. And particularly, obviously, under Carl, who sort of had a certain way of playing and really grew something here at MK Dons in terms of the style and structure of the team. And so many of them passing moves were started with Louis at left back, of him finding that first pass through the lines into midfield to get us playing. And like I say, Mr. Consistent, used to kick me up in the air a lot in training a lot of the time. But to think that I've been left so long, to think that his time has only just come to an end is something that the club should be very proud of. I'm sure him and his family are so proud of what he's achieved in the game.
There's a great chapter in Not Just a Pretty Face where you mentioned you moved from Norwich, the first time you came to Milton Keynes, first time training at Woughton, and some of the surprises that threw up. But you mentioned both Dean Lewington and Sean O'Hanlon, and having those players behind you being a real rock in defence.
Yeah, it was a brilliant team that I came into. Obviously, I came on under Roberto Di Matteo, who was great. Him and Eddie Newton, really enjoyed working for them. Then worked for Paul Ince, who was a manager who I absolutely loved it. He was a massive hero of mine growing up, obviously watching Manchester United play and seeing the way that he played. And then obviously Carl Robinson, who was the manager that I played the most games under in my whole career. And like you said, the team that I come into, there were some fantastic players, but fantastic leaders as well. Obviously, Louis, Sean O'Hanlon, Aaron Wilbrack, there was players that were real leaders. Obviously just bumped into Darren Potter, I played a lot of games with, who was a brilliant midfielder. Steve Clark, there's so many to name, really. I was lucky enough to play with so many fantastic people and players here at MK Dons.
Yeah, and a few of those players were here on Friday night, and they've still got plenty of stories. One thing I would like to touch on, Luke, as you mentioned, you started your career right at the very top with Manchester United. Again, there's some great stories about Alex Ferguson in the book. But that experience that thrust you into the limelight in a way that maybe you weren't prepared for at the time. And I know that's something you've had to deal with over the course of your life.
Yeah, I think sort of going to Manchester United was like incredible. Like, to go up there as a young boy, I was from a tiny little village in the south of Cambridgeshire, and sort of it was a different world going up to Manchester United. I probably went up there a little bit naive, sort of expecting, when you're a footballer, it is just about football. You're just a footballer, but at a club like that, it is very different. And when I went up there as a YTS player, I probably I wasn't the most confident of guys. I wasn't sort of thinking I was going to break into the first team. I'm probably quite surprised that actually happened for me. And when I did, offered, like, obviously to have that opportunity and to play with the players that I played within that squad was fantastic, but also some sort of challenging times as well, sort of thrust into the media limelight, probably not about football, more about my appearance and the way that I looked. I did find that really challenging, more so for the fact that I just didn't know how to deal with it. It was something where my whole life had been around football, and then these were uncomfortable feelings that were coming away from the game, and not so much the criticism that I received, but probably more the fact that I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't have the vulnerability to accept that it was making me feel so bad, and it gave me so much embarrassment, felt so much shame about it. And that's something that I obviously speak about in detail in the book. And when I look back now, it was very challenging, but probably now I wouldn't change that, because it was part of my journey and really helped with me to develop on a human level, more so than anything to do with football.
Absolutely. And then just towards the end of your career, I think you were finishing playing here with us, and you mentioned Cambridge a couple of times. I think that was always the plan, wasn't it, to go back to Cambridge in some capacity?
That was always my dream from about the age of 6 years old, was to play for Cambridge United. They're the club that probably, well, it did make me fall in love with the game. My earliest experiences going to a live game and sort of really falling in love with the players and the football club. And I spoke to, it probably came as a bit of a surprise to Carl when I spoke to him about it and sort of told him and my time here. Well, I was still in the squad, still playing, but my legs were sort of maybe not what they once were. And we had a young player coming through, I'm sure you probably remember him, called Dele Alli, who unfortunately for me was a lot better than me at football, and probably could see my time was coming to an end as a main player here, and knew if I wanted to go to Cambridge where I could still sort of run around and do a little bit, that was the time. So it was something, again, it was the fulfillment of a childhood dream to go and play for my hometown club. But I haven't really got many regrets in my football career, but probably the only regrets that I've got is the way that I sort of just left MK Dons without having the opportunity to thank everyone, because I spent the largest period of my time at this football club. It's where I stayed fit for the longest period of time, it's where I was able to play consistently for the longest period of time, and probably felt like I never like a fuss. I'm always quite a quiet guy. I just want to get on with things, and probably slipped out the back door to a certain extent without saying thank you to everyone connected with the football club, because it gave me so much support, my family so much support, and like I say, I loved being here at the club.
Well, we greatly appreciated you as well, Luke. I'll give you one final question. I mentioned to one of our club photographers that we were going to have this conversation today. And he said the thing about Luke Chadwick was that he never wanted to do media. He was never interested in sitting down for an interview. And now with the book and with TV appearances, and also with Football Fun Factory as well, you're always on our screens. How did that come about?
Yeah, so been more thrust into the limelight a little bit. It's still something that I'm not sort of comfortable with. As a footballer, all I ever wanted to do was play football. It was never about money. It was never about being famous or anything like that. It was all just for the love of the game. I think when my football career came to an end, obviously that I had to do something different. I didn't enjoy coaching. I didn't really want to become a manager, and that's when I sort of got involved with the Football Fun Factory. And a massive part of the Football Fun Factory is around sort of social media to drive our business forward, and that's sort of where all these sort of interviews and everything that's come from, because what the Football Fun Factory is all about giving children the opportunity to play football in a pressure-free, inclusive environment, and using football as a vehicle to develop positive life skills as much as football skills. And I think it's something that I'm really proud to sort of shout about, because it is something that I think all children should have the opportunity, regardless of their current ability levels, to play football. So I think my newfound confidence in front of a camera has a lot to do with the pride of what I'm sort of doing now and talking about the Football Fun Factory.
Absolutely agree with that, Luke. And just finally, if people want to pick up a copy of Not Just a Pretty Face, where can they go to get it?
Yeah, so I believe that Not Just a Pretty Face, Football Fun and Despair is available at all good bookshops, on Amazon, and that you can pick it up, hopefully, a lot of different places.
Luke, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.